No, I was not very familiar with Ukraine. Obviously, it's a country, so I've heard of it. And I think I remember hearing some like minor skirmishes and stuff like that. But did not know very much about Ukraine. And but once February and everything started to really like show up and all that, I did a bunch of research on what was going on, and just felt like I definitely needed to come help. I believe I seen it on like the news or social media or something, but it just, like I said, I had done some research, and most of my feelings was just anger, and I just like sadness, I guess. It was just, I knew something was happening that I didn't feel was right, and just like it didn't feel right in my soul and in my heart, and so I was just pretty angry, and like knew that I needed to do something to help out. I decided to join the Legion. Um, would have been probably, it was like end of 2022 that I wanted to join. I had a previous job that I needed to wrap some things up with, and so I was not able to join until right around March of 2023. That is quite a loaded question. My brothers in arms, some of the best people I've ever met. It's not only the foreign fighters that I've fought with, but also the Ukrainians that I've fought with, and it's just there's a bond that you create with those people when you're standing next to them on a battlefield, and something that nothing else can recreate. And it's pretty cool to see, especially like foreign fighters that come and help out, because like they they didn't have to, you know what I mean? But they'll stand right next to you and lay down their life for the life of somebody else, and that's pretty cool to me. Critically needed gear is definitely a good helmet, good ballistic helmet, a very good vest with good plates. Side plates as well are pretty important. Having good boots, you never know what kind of terrain you're going to be in. Having good uniforms, something that's might be a little bit more expensive, but it's very durable, so it doesn't rip the first time you go out. Having something like night vision or thermals are super important, as well as having good optics on your weapon. Some you can use iron sights, but optics always allow you to be a little bit quicker. But just like main things, ballistic glasses as well, like eye pro, because a lot of the wounds that we see is shrapnel wounds. So those helmets, those glasses, and the good vest, they really help stop guys from getting injured. Yes, we actually work hand in hand with the Ukrainian military, right next to them. They go on every mission that we go on. Um, my impression of those guys is they're wild. You know what I mean? They're great people, and it's pretty cool because they would they would fight. They'll die for you just the same as you would for them. And like I said, it creates that brotherhood, and they're some of the best people I've ever met. So I'm very happy to be here and be with them. I've been treated mostly nothing but nice by Ukrainian civilians. I've actually had quite a few civilians. They helped me, get into the country, and because I didn't speak the language and I can't read the language, they could tell I was struggling, and they helped me, point me in the right direction. A couple of them bought me meals before I could get my money transferred over at the exchange, and they house you, they feed you, they nothing but supportive. It's pretty awesome to come here not knowing anything and immediately be welcomed with open arms. I would say so far my most memorable moment is one of the last missions that we did so far. Um, we hit a anti-tank mine and kind of blew up, uh, pretty big, and there was a lot of people injured, and I was lucky enough to not be injured as badly, so I was able to help get casualties out of there and everything. And it was really cool because um, there was a Ukrainian that had a fighting position in the tree line, and he didn't hesitate. He, as after we had blown up, he immediately ran out without his rifle, without his kit and stuff, and started helping pull injured people back. And so that was pretty cool to me because, like, it takes a good person and a lot of balls to run out into an open field, and um, especially with the artillery and the tanks firing at you, and start helping other people. And so, I mean, I'll definitely remember that for the rest of my life, just because it's not every day you get blown up by an anti-tank mine and live to talk about it. So I think that'll be probably my most memorable moment. Things that people don't know. Well, I can say when I was back in America that the media on the war is there's a lot of mixed things. Some people, some of the media says, "Oh, it's not a big deal. It's just little fighting here and there." Other media, says like, "Oh, this country's right or this country is wrong," or vice versa. And um, I think the biggest thing that people don't see is you know how much actual like damage is being done to the country, and not just the biggest problem for me is not just soldiers and combatants dying. It's the innocent civilians who are just going about their daily lives who take a missile to their apartment building. I remember hearing a story on the news a few days ago, or maybe it was a month ago or something, about a missile hit an apartment building and a 2-year-old died, and the mom and everybody, because it slammed right into their apartment. That to me is just something that maybe you see it on the news, maybe you don't, but until you're here, you don't actually realize how many civilians die daily because of missile attacks, because they're not just targeting military bases or military convoys. They just shoot at the city where people are just trying to go about their daily lives. The future for Ukraine. Well, um, I've only been here a little while, a few months. I've fought a bunch during that time, but I the spirit is not broken. It's there's everyone is still you know everyone's fighting, everyone's willing to fight, and there's if anything, I would say, like, morale is going up. We're starting to push back, and we're taking lots of ground. And I see you know it, Russia seems to be stumbling a little bit as we push as hard as we are. And so I definitely think that people are, I don't know if they're seeing an end, but they're seeing improvement. People are we're still pushing, we're still fighting, and people haven't given up yet. Oh boy. Anything I would like to say to the world? Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of support, for Ukraine, and I've seen support for like donations and stuff like that. But I think that a lot of people don't realize that, um, at least in my point of view, if Ukraine were to fall, I don't think it would be the end of the war. Um, and people criticize a lot of the foreign fighters for coming over here. They tell us it's not our war to fight. It's none of your business. But for me, it's more of a fight between good and evil, and I just couldn't stand by and watch that happen. So I would say, you know, if you know how to fight, come help us. And you never know when it's gonna be you next. And so I think the faster we can stop this, the less people that die, the better. So donations and things that people give are always super useful, as well as good people that want to come and help. Whether you want to come and help and be a fighter, whether you want to come and help and do some logistics, or maybe work with computers, or maybe work with drones. Like, it's always needed. Everybody, all different kinds of jobs are needed.